Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about everything Bolton Wanderers. Now I won't lie to you, I did a lot of this research about a week ago. Since then, a lot has happened for Bolton, not quite gone the way they would have wanted to on the pitch. They played against Morecambe and drew, and played against Plymouth at the weekend and lost. So it hasn't gone brilliantly, you could say. However, I thought, do we just scrap it? Do we not do this episode on Bolton? And I thought, no. I do think Bolton deserve credit. I think they deserve a lot of credit. I think they deserve the time for me to sit down and talk about what has been a brilliant season. I've sort of done in-depth discussion episodes, really, on quite negative things. Obviously, Sunderland sat their manager and Charlton aren't enjoying a great season. I'm sort of discussing what's going on at both of those clubs. I thought, let's up the happiness scale, if you like, and talk about something a little bit more exciting in terms of a team doing really well in League One this season. That is Bolton Wanderers. They've been absolutely brilliant this year. And even though maybe their push for the playoffs might be slightly over, I mean, it's not mathematically over, but it is maybe looking a little bit maybe too far out of reach at this point. I still think they deserve the credit. I still deserve that they deserve my time to discuss and break down what has been no doubt a really, really good season. And for a newly promoted side, they've been really, really quite impressive. And we're going to sort of, break it down and sort of delve quite deep in Bolton this season because they've done quite well, you could say. If you enjoy this sort of content, you want to see more of this stuff. Like I said, I've been doing things on Sunderland, I did one on Charlton, I'm now doing one on Bolton. You want to see your club, you want to see something interesting, you've got any exciting topics you'd like me to talk about, really, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more of this as well, you can show your support by hitting that subscribe button. We are about 40 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to hit 1,000 subscribers, and you can make that journey a little bit less of a journey by you hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell as well. You'll be notified when I go live. We'll do a recorded episode just like this one. But like I said, enjoy the content. You've got more discussion ideas. Let me know in the comments down below. I've enjoyed them recently. And they're back today. A little bit more positive, like I said, talking about a team doing really well in Skybet League One. So where do we start with Bolton? Well, I think we should start with the stats, what we can see. And we'll start on the pitch, really. I mean, looking at and the way they've been playing this season has been quite brilliant. I also would like to say as well, when I was sort of delving deep into some of the statistics of Bolton, they've got the third highest XG in the league at 38.9 goals. They've got the second highest goals in the league as well. So going forward this season, they've been absolutely phenomenal. And they really, really are a team under Ian Evatt that likes to play on the front foot, likes to play attacking football, exciting football. And they're winning games as well. They're winning games. And that's the most important thing as well. They're playing good football. They're scoring a lot of goals. They're definitely entertaining their supporters. But they're also winning games in League One. And like I said, for a newly promoted side, that's really, really quite impressive. It does take something to come into this league and play a really good brand of football. We know Ian Evatt and his sort of culture and philosophy is to play like that. And for someone to come into League One and do that, I think that's really, really impressive. Defensively, they're not the best team in the world, but ultimately they're doing really well going forward. And also, I would say as well, they're almost just outscoring their opposition at points this season. So it's felt like they haven't been bad defensively, but they haven't been the best defensively. But you can see with those attacking numbers I've mentioned just a second ago how good they are going forward and how good they are in the offensive area of the pitch. And like I said, at some points this season, they're almost just outscoring their opposition. That's what's brilliant about this Bolton Wanderers side. Something else I would say as well, Bolton's sequence play has been really, really exciting. They've got the third highest in 10-plus pass sequences. So they really, really do like the ball. And what we can see from that as well, we can see the possession style of play. They love having the ball. And Ian Evatt loves a team in possession, dominating games, dictating the tempo, controlling the opposition and controlling games. And you can see that with that stat, that's exactly what he wants from his team. And with that stat as well, with those pass sequences, it's really quite clear to see in that sense as well. They've got the highest number of goal-ending sequences in the league as well, in open play. Across all the teams in Skybet League One. They don't just have the ball, do nothing with it. They have the ball, they break the teams down and their oppositions down really, really well. And they have the most goal-ending sequences as well. So really, really impressive for Bolton Wanderers. They love having the ball and they can also carve open oppositions as well when they have the ball, which is also, quite important. There's no just having the ball, not doing anything with it. They've got the ball and they're making sure they, punish opposition ultimately with the ball as well. Really impressive stuff from Bolton. I think what we can see as well, when we look at those stats and we look at all the different things, you can see going forward, a very, very good side. They like having the ball. But what does that really mean? What does that suggest by looking at those stats? Well, they love the dominance, very, very dominant, and they're relentless in their attack as well. By looking at the average position as well, it's clear to see how Bolton's defensive line is and their intention to squeeze the opposition up the pitch. I looked at the sort of the sort of general positions, the average position, should I say. of Bolton across the season as well. And they have a very, very interesting style where they're pushing up the pitch, very, very high line with that back five, but almost a back three with the fullbacks that are very, very attacking. We know Fossey's come in January and played with the right wing back. He's been absolutely brilliant this season going forward. And you can see they like to squeeze up the pitch, like to play with a high line, and with those attacking forwards as well, that's how they offer the width, squeezing the opposition at points as well. Been really, really impressed with that style of play. And what I would say about Marvin Fossey, he's been an absolutely revolutionary signing since he joined in January. Quite a few January signings for Bolton, but he in particular has been brilliant since he came in, playing on that right wing back spot. Like I said, he offers the pace, he offers the creativity on that right hand side, getting up and down, a brilliant work rate, put a brilliant ball into the penalty area as well. Got 2 assists against Gillingham quite recently as well. He looks to be a brilliant signing, and he's come in on loan from Fulham and doing a brilliant job. And him coming in has enabled them to play and offer more, I'd say, going forward. He's been an absolutely fantastic signing. And linking to that previous point as well, that 3-4-1-2 formation has been vital in their success and this great run, specifically in terms of ensuring there's plenty of attacking numbers. The one player behind the 2 strikers up front has been brilliant this season. It's normally been Oladapo Afolayan who's played behind those 2. We know that Dapo's had a brilliant season for Bolton once again, and him playing behind the 2 has been absolutely brilliant. He offers the pace, it was that creativity. He's a brilliant player to have, and he offers a really, really good amount of attacking numbers, getting close to the likes of Dion, who came in also in January. He's also scored a lot of goals this season as well. That's a really, really good 3 you can see up there as well. Whoever plays next to Dion as well, they know they're around a really good striker in Charles, and also a really good creativity option with Dapo behind them. And then linking on even further, you've got, like I said, the width of Fossey or John on the other side as well. They've got options on either side, and that again is why I think this season and why this brilliant run quite recently been on has been such a success, because they're able to play in that way. Against Gillingham as well, 73% possession of the ball. Again, linking back to the sequences I mentioned, they like having the ball, they like causing problems with the ball, not just having getting hold of the ball as well. But again, you can see how many passes they made. 571 passes in the game compared to Gillingham's 193. That is 571 passes for Bolton, 193 for Gillingham. They had the ball, did great stuff with the ball, and in the end won the game quite comfortably. So really, really good stuff there as well. That's a real game against Gillingham that I would like to highlight and show how impressive they were going forward. There is another game that I'd like to highlight as well. It's probably one that Sunderland fans probably won't want to remember, but it's when, and Bolton certainly will, when they beat Sunderland 6-0 quite recently. I wanted to highlight that game because they actually played a different way, and this is what I like about Ian Evatt. He's not an arrogant manager that's stuck in his ways. He's able, and he's got that inner. Sometimes it is inner arrogance to not change what he thinks and what he believes is completely his culture, whatever in terms of his footballing style and footballing culture in that sense. But he's able to adapt and make tactical decisions and change the way he likes to play based on the opposition. That's also important to do as well. A lot of managers just sort of stick to their plan A and don't change. They're quite stubborn in their ways in that sense. But Ian Evatt's not like that. If he wants to play against the side and cause problems against that sort of side, he's able to change that. And he's got that ability as a manager to tactically make those decisions. And against Sunderland, they had to abandon, I guess, the 573 passes, whatever it was, against Gillingham, the 73% possession, in order to beat Sunderland in the way they did. And you can say it certainly did pay off. And Ian Evatt came out and said, we had to mix up the trademark possession football with something more direct. They played a more direct style with the passes that they normally play. It's quite indirect. Non-direct or indirect, if you like. And they definitely like having the ball quite close to each other, and like having the players quite close to each other as well, squeezing the opposition in that sense. Always able with a passing opportunity. With a more direct ball over the top as well, they like to play with a bit more a long ball against Sunderland. And we saw 2 of the goals against Sunderland was James Trafford, the goalkeeper. A lovely ball over to Dion in the air over defensive line, over Sunderland's defensive line as well. Not very indirect or non-direct, if you like. Very direct over the defence, straight in for Dion, and he scores 2 goals like that as well, which is really, really impressive. And they can change the approach. And it proved genius, really, in that game, beating Sunderland very, very comfortably. Again, showing a different edge to Sunderland, showing a little bit different Sunderland football, really, but able to really, really reap the benefits of it as well, because you come away with a brilliant win against Sunderland, 6-0, but you're able to play a little bit differently. And they weren't playing direct completely for the whole 90, but 2 very important goals in that game came from a little bit more direct play, changing the way they like to play, shocking and surprising Sunderland, if you like, at points. And it really, really did prove to be pivotal in what was a really, really good win. In terms of off the pitch, the January transfer window was, proven to be quite a busy one for Bolton, and I think they did an amazing job. Now, there were some risks, and there are quite a lot of risks when you bring in the amount of players that Bolton did, but that risk really did turn to reward. We look how many, we've seen quite often, a lot of teams try and bring in 7-8 players into a January transfer window, and it takes time to gel. It takes time for players to come in, and you don't have the pre-season in January like you would in the summer. You don't have the opportunity to play friendlies, if you like. You don't have that sort of time in January. You join the football club and normally just get straight going, and you can see when teams do try and bring in a lot of numbers in January, it doesn't work. Teams don't gel. It can almost disrupt things and make things even worse, really. And Bolton were finding themselves in a bit of a sticky patch in the middle of the season. They started the season really, really well, hit a bit of a bumpy ride in the middle, and then of course went on that brilliant run since January, really, and still are on a really good run. Yet be it they did lose to Plymouth and drew to Morecambe sort of last week, but ultimately they're still on a fairly good run. The performances have been really impressive, and their league position rise as well has been something quite brilliant. And, like I said, we see it a lot. Bringing players in can prove risky. But Dion joined from Accrington. He's already had a huge impact. 9 goal contributions since joining the club in January. They brought in John Dovison from Millwall. Dodvarson, from Millwall. Kieran Sadlier from Rotherham. Carl Dempsey from Gillingham. Aaron Morley from Rochdale. Marlon Fossey from Fulham on loan. James Trafford from Man City on loan. All of those players have made absolutely brilliant impact. Some have played more than others, but still a brilliant set of players there that have come in and really boosted this squad. And you can see there really has been a boost. There really has been an improvement. And that comes down to Ian Evatt being brilliant in the January transfer window, highlighting exactly where they want to improve the squad, highlighting areas they really want to improve, and going forward want to see in position they need a bit more creativity. They need probably a striker as well. And they got that with Dion after Doyle left the club. So they knew the areas need to improve. They knew the areas they wanted to bring players in, and they did that. And that's absolutely brilliant stuff, not just from Ian Evatt, from the recruitment, and from everybody really around the football club. It's clear to see Ian Evatt has been back financially. Bolton clearly see a future with Ian Evatt, and why wouldn't you? He got them promoted last season. He's probably going to finish them between 10th and I'd probably say 7th now. Is probably my prediction where they're going to finish come the end of the season. And why wouldn't you back someone like that? Plays a brilliant brand of football. Huge improvements for Bolton in recent years after, of course, was a quite dramatic decline, but he's sort of getting them back on the right track now. It's a brilliant job. Why wouldn't you back him? And they certainly have. A lot of the players, should I mention as well, that they were permanent signings. Carl Dempsey from Gillingham was permanent. Kieran Sadlier from Rotherham, I believe, was permanent as well, and Aaron Morley was. So a lot of players there on permanent deals. Of course, Dion was as well. I'm pretty sure the lad from Millwall, was that a permanent signing? I'm not entirely sure. I know the others were, but ultimately you can see that they're backing him. They understand what Ian Evatt's trying to do, and I think that's really, really important. Now, I did sort of add a few more notes as well about what are Bolton going to do now, and can they do it? Can they go on and finish with the playoff place? Like I said, a lot of this research was done before they played against Morecambe and Plymouth last week, and I'm going to be honest, Bolton fans, I think it might be a little bit of a tough ask. I won't lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it definitely is going to happen now. I didn't ever say it was going to definitely happen, but I thought they certainly had a much better chance if they hadn't have dropped points to Morecambe and Plymouth last week. I think if you draw into Morecambe and then bounce back with a really good win against Plymouth, who are a team trying to get into that top 6, I think already are in that top 6 now as well, then maybe you still got a bit of hope there. But the gap for me now looks a little bit too much. And like I said, a bit too much of a tough ask. I'll have a look at the league table. I've got it right in front of me now. 11th place at the moment, 55 points. Plymouth, who you played on Saturday and lost 1-0 to, are 6th in the league on 65 points. So it's a 10-point gap now. You haven't got any games in hand on teams around you. Only really teams around you have got games in hand on you. So it's not brilliant in that sense. So ultimately you have got to make up 10 points minimum plus the teams, and that's if everyone else loses and they've got games in hand. It's not looking likely, I won't lie. I think that might be a bit of a tough ask. But I would say as well, I just released my episode of the podcast rounding up last week's action. I did that for you yesterday, but for me today. And a lot of people are saying already in the comments, it's not mathematically over, and it's not. But one point I would say, and a lot of people are saying as well, I think this really does set up, and I 100% agree with this, it sets up for a brilliant season next year. I think it's a brilliant year sustainably staying in the in League One. And then we go for the Championship and go for a promotion next year into the Championship. Why wouldn't you try and do that? They probably do need a bit more of a recruitment process come the summer. I'm sure they will do that. But for sure, staying in the league is what they wanted to do from the start. Could they go and get back-to-back promotions? At points in the season, maybe they could have done. But I think at the moment, from what I'm seeing right now, it does look a little bit unlikely. But there's no doubt at all. And that's why I said I wasn't just going to scrap this episode of the podcast. I wouldn't do that because they deserve the credit. They've been brilliant this season. And they might not go and do it. They probably won't do it, if I'm being completely honest. But they definitely deserve the credit because this year it's been brilliant for Bolton. There's been ups, there's been downs. But that brilliant run they've been on, a brilliant January transfer window, a great brand of football, under a great manager, I think they really do deserve credit. So hopefully for Bolton, I'm behind Bolton. I'm backing Bolton next season. If you don't go up this year, then definitely go and try again next year. And I'm sure they will. There's no reason why they wouldn't. But they definitely deserve credit because they've been absolutely brilliant to watch this season and have been on a brilliant run. I remember when they came to Oxford United quite recently and they, won 3-2 and they were absolutely phenomenal in the way they played and they're a great watch. He made for a great game of football and I wish them the best of luck. They're a brilliant football club and they don't deserve to be where they are, really. The size of the football club, the fan base, the stature, they definitely do not deserve to be in League One. But it might have to be another season in League One, to be honest. But again, they built a lot this season. They can learn a lot this season and go again, use and definitely take in what they've learnt this year and go again next year. Don't see why they can't do that. Let me know, Bolton fans, in the comments down below. Have I got anything right here? Am I spot on? Am I not spot on? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Lots of content like this for a lot of clubs across the league. Until next time, though, stay safe, take care. Subscribe if you're new, leave a like, and see you all very, very soon. See you in a bit.